What's going on, guys? I'm Prox and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now, in the previous episode we built all of this, right? So we're now refining fuel and then obviously burning that fuel to generate power. But I made a mistake and I'm gonna try and fix it today. As you see, our power plant is split into two sides. One side is functioning as normal, but the other one is somehow not working at all. So I want to look into this fuel refining facility and figure out what the hell is going wrong. We have this section right here, then we have this one right here, and then we have the third one right here. Now I want you to take a look and tell me what the hell is wrong with this setup. And the answer is absolutely obvious, right? The first part is fully saturated with resources, but it's not producing anything. It's filled up and no longer works. Now, the second section is also fully saturated and it is producing as planned. Because surprise, surprise, this entire area, all 6 or 12 machines actually, are making fuel just so it can be burned. And this section right here, all of these 6 or whatever 12 machines are not making anything. And that is because they do have heavy oil residue, but they do not have water. Unfortunately, it is not a production issue, so we are indeed making enough water to supply every single one of these machines. It is a logistical issue. Now, when I made it, I didn't think through it enough. So what is basically happening is that we are making a lot of water, packaged water in this case. So both of these things are being mixed up and then they end up in here. So they fill up these containers and then they proceed to, well, to fuel refining. When we make these packaged fuel with diluted packaged fuel recipe, we end up with a lot of empty canisters. Now the issue becomes super obvious when we recycle and do not put them in the same line. Now we do have 6 lines that recycle empty canisters, but unfortunately they don't end up in the right place. So now I'm gonna have to attempt and fix this. Unfortunately for us, we do have a lot of battery power stored up, so even though I might end up shutting the entire system down, we will still have enough power to run everything that's connected to our power grid for more than 2 hours, which should be more than enough time for me to fix this apparently simple, but kind of a frustrating mistake. The easiest fix would be just simply deleting these belts and then figuring out where they need to go. And for that, I'm gonna have to do a lot of belt tracking and running on the belts, tracking where they end up and where they take resources from. Man, I really hope it's gonna work. Now, first things first, I'm gonna try and simplify things by marking the inputs and outputs around the containers that resources have to go through. So in this case, these are 3 containers that power half of our packaged water production line, and therefore they should have empty canisters coming into them from very specific 3 fuel production lines. Okay, this should do. Now that we have all 6 of them marked up, I'm gonna have to go upstairs and mark the water production as well. Which one is which though? Is it all the way around, like the opposite? Okay, so that's 1, 2, and 3, and these are 1, 2, and 3. So this is number 3. The bottom one is yeah, this is weird numbering, but you know, I just have to go with it. And paste. Yep. This was number 2. Did it change? Oh, it did change. Nice. So as long as you open up the edit menu while you're close, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you finish it. Yeah, that works fine. I'm pretty sure that's right. And if not, you know what? We can do a little switcheroo later on. I'm gonna just go ahead and do the other side, and then I'm gonna go and do the refineries outside as well. Okay, so now all of these sections are marked up. It's weirder than I thought it was. So we have some random middle section as a number 1, then we have a number 2 right there in the corner, then the other one in the corner there is a number 3, then this one in the middle is a number 4, and this one's number 5, and we end up with a number 6 in this corner right here. I don't know, it kind of makes sense and it kind of doesn't. It does make a full circle at least, so it's not random, like it's in a sequence in a way. But now we have to sort out the return, which is by far the most difficult part. I'm just gonna mark conveyor lifts that are coming down with a number, and I'm gonna try and match the outputs of these conveyor belts, or conveyor lifts, I'm sorry, to the inputs in our recycling system. Refinery number 6 is gonna have to return all the empty canisters to the container number 6, and then 5 to 5, 4 to 4, you know, it's just a matching thing. I know it sounds easy, but it's a lot of belt work, and it gets kind of confusing when you have to work in reverse, like looking upwards or whatnot. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. Anyway, so let me just fix that, and we'll see if that fixes the situation with our power generators. So this was the order that the empty canisters were making the way back in. So number 1 was going to a lucky number 4. Number 3 was going to the number 6. Number 6, which is a super random placement, was making its way to number 2, and number 5 was going to number 1. You see, it was an absolute mess. I mean, it still is, but now it's just the final stretch, so I'm gonna sort everything out, and then hopefully we can make the full 16k megawatts. Power. Oh man, I never thought that the conveyor lift snapping to the ceilings would make life so much easier. So look, now all I gotta do is just boom, bam, bop. Hopefully, just hopefully, everything ends up in its right places, which I can already tell that it's not. I'm actually surprised how I even end up building anything that works. Okay, this is 5, so that's gonna have to end up somewhere around here. And then that's 6, which has to be in the middle. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna just... Oh. Does this work? Yeah, it does work. Okay, as long as it works, it's gonna be fine. So the last thing is to go up and actually see whether or not the production resumes. And let's see. Okay, we actually see progress because this line is getting saturated with water and we see fuel production. Same story here. That is a good sign. Wow, imagine screwing things up this badly. So I only found out about this because I had to, well, didn't have to, but it automatically ended up being this way, that the last section down there is not making fuel that is being consumed, so it would just saturate its fuel line and then shut down, and that would end up in a lot of containers being dumped to awesome sinks and, you know, just turned into points. I mean, it's still a little bit laggy, but it should actually sort itself out rather quickly because we're going through so many empty canisters so quickly. It should probably not take any time at all to, you know, balance out again. Oh wow, it's the music to my eyes. See, what? It is pleasant to see that everything starts moving again. And if I remember correctly, number 5 and number 6 are the only ones that should be not moving, because they do not need any new empty canisters to make extra water to make the fuel, and the number 4 and everything on this side is moving as well. So that's a win for me, and hopefully this will sort out the power situation. It's only just a matter of time until we get our fuel built up so we can actually start producing full capacity of our power again. It is actually working already. You see, some of the fuel power generators are shutting down, especially the ones at the ends of the manifold. If I give it enough time, I'm sure that it will balance itself out, and it is going to become very apparent in our electrical grid. Okay, and wow, we didn't even use that much of our battery power, if any at all, which is surprising having in mind that we were only running half of our power production. So now let's just play a waiting game until our fuel buffers fully fill up, and then opening the valve and see how this thing is actually performing and whether or not I just fixed my power plant. I don't even know how long it's been. All I can say for certain is that it's been quite a while, because as we can see from our power graph, we are now flatlining, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, unlike in medical situation. So we are now proudly producing 15,928 megawatts, which is going to go down slightly once I demolish the compacted coal power station. I'm really glad that they managed to fix this in this short episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked the video, or a dislike if you didn't. And as always, this has been Aprox. Thank you for your eyeballs, and I'll see you in the next one.